Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl D of Life with D, and we are back with another video. So in my last video I told you guys that I am not using the bullet journal method anymore just because it doesn't work for me and my needs. So I have transitioned to a new system called Notion. Today I am here to walk you through my current Notion setup. I have been using Notion for maybe a month or two at this point, and I'm getting to a point where I realized that I can make some changes in my Notion setup, but I wanted to show that setup to you guys now before I make these changes. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Alright guys, so here we are in my Notion. I typically use the Notion app, which is free, and I downloaded it directly from like the Notion website because there is actually another app that's called Notion that is not this, so beware. But as you can see, I have a favorites area which has my life dashboard, personal, and work. And then I also have some other pages as well that are not favorites, so like my client workflow, video project tracker, personal home, weekly reset, and life planning. Like I said, my life dashboard is the first thing that I open up when I come into Notion. So I have my brain dump area, which allows me to just quickly dump any task that may come to mind before they start piling up. I like to have this at the top, that way I can quickly kind of access it. The next area I have in my life dashboard is my this week main focus, and for those I have a maximum of 3 main focuses a week, but it's typically between 1 and 2, and it's just kind of things that I really want to focus on this week. It may be a big project that I'm working on, or it could just be a task that I have been avoiding for a very long time. The next area of my life dashboard is my week at a glance, which goes through Monday through Sunday and says basically the things that I have to do for the week. It's not as detailed because it doesn't have like the times or any additional notes about the tasks that I have to do. It just kind of lists them for me. But even seeing that is super helpful when it comes to planning my week and things like that. The next area I have is my next actions area. As you can see, I have a task list here and a task list there. This first task list is for all of my work-related tasks, and so it's actually pulling from another database that I already have within Notion. And the second task list is from my personal dash, and it's pulling from there. And so throughout my Notion, I have a couple different places where information, data, tables, things of that nature are being pulled from another area. And so this is one of those. And as you can see, it has like some context over here. I'll break that down a little bit more when we actually get into the original data sets that this information was pulled from, because then you can see a little bit more of what that really means. Next, I have my calendar. So I have a calendar like quick add, so I can quickly type in events and it'll then be placed into the calendar. But I also have it set up so that way when I type in an event, it won't go away from this area until I add a tag and a date to it. That way I'm making sure that I have in all like the necessary context that I need to actually know when and where this event is happening. And then after that, I have a full calendar. So this calendar actually is not pulled from my Google Calendar, which is an option that Notion has. But the way that you have to do that is you basically release your rights to privacy and things like that if you do it that way. And so because I like, some level of privacy, I did not want to do that. And so I manually type in all of my events every week. Unfortunately, Notion does not have a repeating function in the calendar, which I would kill for, but they don't have that. So I do have to type in some like weekly events like my clients every single week. But that is my entire life dashboard. So that is the end of my life dashboard. I largely adapted this from Michelle B on YouTube. She does a lot of things with Notion, things of that nature. So I got a lot of this from her, but I have definitely removed some things that were in hers that I didn't feel were necessary for me and added in things that I think are actually relevant to me and what I need out of my dashboard. Next area we have is personal. As you can see, I have a task list, a project list, and a personal dashboard. Now this was adapted from Ali Abdaal on YouTube. He has a very long Notion walkthrough where he set this up on his Notion, and I think it took like an hour or something like that. So I watched that video basically on end until I did it for myself, and I really enjoyed it. But the more that I kind of get into it, I don't think that it's necessarily working for me. So I might make some tweaks in this area as well, which you guys will see at a later date. But back into actually what's here now. So I have a task list, and when I go into my task list, it just lists everything that I need to do for my personal life kind of deal. So I have task name, and it lists all the task names. I have a notes area. I have a done area, context, related to projects, due dates, and flags, which can sound like a lot, but it's really important for me to have all these details here just to make sure I never miss a deadline or a due date, or if I have a really big project that I'm not forgetting any of like the key elements that I will need in order to complete the project. Like I said earlier, I would explain a little bit of what context means when we got to the more relevant area for that. And so what I mean by context is like how when you open this area, it gives you a ton of options. Granted, you have to type in all of these options yourself, but there seems to be kind of no limit on how many options you can have here. So I have like licensure, errands, laptop, phone, mom, other, social, health, YouTube. I have a ton of options. And so that's really helpful for when I'm trying to sort my task and figure out, okay, what task am I gonna work on today? I can sort it by a couple of different things. And the way that I also have this set up is that when I click done, it'll disappear from the task list and it'll be archived. That way I'm not flooded with all these tasks that I've already done and I can't get to the ones that aren't done yet. As far as this related project list area, I will show you guys that later. But everything else I think on this task list pretty much makes sense. Oh, the last thing is the flag area. So my flag area is where I mark, and this will show up on my life dashboard. The way that I have my dashboard set up, like I said, I have it linked so that if I have marked a task as flagged on my life dashboard, it'll show up signaling to me that, hey, I flagged this task and it's really important for me to do. So that is my personal task list. Going back to my personal kind of landing page, I also have a project list. And so for me, the only project that I have right now is my LGPC maintenance, just to make sure that I am keeping up with those hours. But again, in the Ali Abdaal tutorial, he shows you how to set up this thing so that way you can have kind of a marker where it says like that you are supposed to review this task or this project every so often. And so I've set up this in here as well. Going back to the personal landing page, I also have a personal dashboard. This I honestly do not use a ton, so I'm not sure how much longer I will keep this feature on mine. But it has a task inbox, so if I'm ever just chilling on this page and I need to add some tasks specifically to my personal task list, I can do so from here. Next, I have tasks with due dates, that way I never miss a due date. Tasks with flags, so I never miss an important task. And then a needs review area, which if I have any projects that I'm overdue on, then it'll show me here. And then finally, I also have a calendar here. This calendar is linked from my life dashboard in that it's the same calendar, but I've changed some things on this calendar. That way I'm only seeing the things that are relevant to my personal life. So I don't see any work tasks on here, just like social things, appointments, anything that would kind of qualify under the personal realm is all right here, just in case I ever need to quickly reference things that I just need to do in my personal life. All right, moving on to the work landing page. Looks a lot like that personal landing page because it is the same setup from the Ali Abdaal tutorial that I have been talking about. So it's kind of like the same thing, but just so you guys can see for yourselves, I will quickly go through those as well. So I have, once again, my task list. I have more context over here than I do in my personal task list. And then also I have different context because the contacts that are relevant in my personal life are not relevant in my work life. So I need to differentiate between those. But as far as the areas that are on this task list, they're the same as the areas that are on my personal task list, in that I have a task name related to projects list, done, question mark, due date, context, and flags. I also do have a notes area here, which I've taken out for this video just because it was detailed information in there regarding what tasks needed to be done, and I just didn't feel like having to blur it out later, honestly. Sorry guys. So I just hid the tab, which is a really great feature that Notion offers. Going back to the project list, I only have one project, which it's time for me to review, which is getting my telemental health license, and that is something that I'm still working on, so it is still here on my project list. And then finally, I have a work dashboard, which is just like my personal dashboard, with the exception being that the calendar at the end only has work tasks. So I have the same calendar in 3 different places, but with different context placed on each of them. So in here, I will only see my work tasks, like my clients that I have or meetings that I have. Those kinds of things will be in this area. All right, now that we have gone through all of my favorites, I will now move on to the rest of the pages that I have within Notion. So I have a client workflow, which for HIPAA reasons, everyone has been assigned a number instead of having their name listed, but it basically has all of the information that I need regarding making sure that I'm doing the right thing with my clients. This is very specific to my job, so I won't spend a ton of time talking about this, but this is what my client workflow looks like. Next, I have a video project tracker for YouTube's. Now, this was adopted by, okay, honestly, I forgot his name, so I will have it pop up on the screen, but it's like one of Ali Abdaal's friends, and so I have adopted it from there. It's a really great setup. I won't get too deep into it this time because I know this video is already going to be pretty lengthy, but if you guys want to see a little bit more about what this tracker looks like, I can definitely go in depth with this tracker and the template that is used even within the tracker itself if you guys want to. But what I really like about this template is that it offers different areas so you can move like your videos around. So like right now I'm filming my Notion setup, and so we can pop this over here, and so now I know, okay, what am I filming right now, what am I scripting for, what am I editing, what's scheduled, and what's published. So like I said, let me know if you guys want me to go a little bit more in depth with that. The next area I have is my personal home, which honestly has absolutely nothing on it. This is one of the pages that comes with Notion automatically, and I honestly just have not gotten back around to writing anything in any of these areas, but I have kept it because I actually want to get back to it eventually. So the next area that I have on here that I have not talked about is my weekly reset. This is something that was also adopted by Michelle B. As you can tell, I adapt things from a lot of other creators because I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. If someone has already invented the wheel, I'm going to borrow it and customize it for my own use, and that is exactly what I have done here on Notion. So she has a weekly reset template, and I have basically used that template and added in some more of my own personal things that were relevant once again to me, my life, and what I needed to be done, and then taken away some things as well that were not really relevant to me. And so it has a get clear area, get current, and a business review. And so basically my goal is to do this every Monday. That way I can reset myself and make sure I am on the right track for the week. The next area that I have not gone over yet, and it's the last area of my Notion, for now anyway, is my life planning area, which has nothing in it. So this was one of the things that came with the Michelle B template when I downloaded it, and I just haven't gotten back to it. It's something that I actually do want to do because I think it would be valuable, and I think that it would be really helpful once I do it. However, I haven't done it yet. All right, guys, so that is my full Notion setup for right now. Like I said, I will likely be changing this in the future as I realize things that are working and want to do more of that, and realize things that aren't working and want to do less of that, / remove it from my Notion altogether. So I'll probably be back with an update on that. Please let me know if you guys wanted to see anything else in more detail. I tried to go over everything pretty fast, so I'm sorry for the speed, guys. But just so that way you guys did not have a super long video, I wanted to kind of get through things at a pretty fast rate. So comment down below any questions that you have or anything that I may have went over too fast, or if you'd like to see something kind of in more detail. Like this video if you learned anything or you liked this kind of video, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.